Good evening and welcome to the Emerson Institute at City of Light. I'm Reverend Dr. Paul Gretz, and it's a delight to welcome you to our class, coming to you from our campus at 3125 Presidential Parkway in Atlanta, Georgia. We're filming from the Dr. Angelo Pozzella Wisdom Center, an incredible center of wisdom for our community and for our world. It is housing an incredible number of volumes of great information, books that can be checked out for your learning experience and your spiritual enrichment. We're designing this Wisdom Center with the intention that students from our Emerson Institute will be having access to great resources for their continuing learning process, as well as for clergy to come by and to check out books. So we're looking forward to expanding this wonderful outreach here at the Dr. Angelo Pozzella Wisdom Center to incorporate more and more people and more opportunities for spiritual enrichment. But it's also a classroom and a great environment for study and for our classes to come together. And so we welcome you to this experience from the Dr. Angelo Pozzella Wisdom Center here at City of Light. Now, to prepare for our class on spiritual economics, well, we want to do what is our tradition, and that is to center our hearts and our thoughts and to just release all stress and tension by doing a little breathing exercise. We're going to breathe in through our nose, hold that breath, and then release it with great strength and great intensity, releasing out any stress, tension, or distraction. It enables us to be more centered in this moment. So would you join with me? Let's breathe together. Breathe in and release. Deep breath in and release. Deep breath in and release. And in this moment of silence, set your intention for that which you desire to transpire in your life during this time that we share together. Just begin to name that desire. Whisper it within your heart. Let's do this together. And so it is. Well, welcome to session number 10 in our class on spiritual economics. And we have an exciting topic tonight because it's all about discovering the wonder of giving. That's right. A powerful experience in our life is full of the generosity, full of the giving. That's what it's all about. Full of the experience of sharing of the highest and best of our own lives and our own life experiences. We're going to discover this wonder of giving as we look at tonight's topic from session number 10 of Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. The author begins by asking us, what's your idea of prosperity? We say the word prosperity, and so many people are like, oh, wait a minute, prosperity in the fields of religion. Are you asking people to give money to you so you can be rich and buy a huge mansion and a big jet and all this kind of wonderful stuff while the rest of the world is suffering and having a difficult time? Or are you asking some of these people who are on fixed incomes, who are struggling, to give generously to you, and you in return are going to hoard all of that or collect for your own benefits? You see, that's kind of the idea that some people have when a church or pastor speaks about prosperity. But really, the emphasis of prosperity is not on how to get, or it's not on getting, but that can be very misleading. But the study of prosperity is really teaching us how to and why to give. That's right. How to and why giving is so essential for our lives. Giving does not refer to simply money. It's a process that may involve money, but it also involves your work and the many ways in which you can make contact with life. Giving is basically an attitude with which you can touch things. Isn't that so true? That how we can touch our world is through the generosity, through the giving, through what we share. It's not necessarily always that we give just through money, but we can give in many different ways. We can give of greater kindness and love, compassion and caring. We can give in so many ways of our just ability to listen and to be present for others. I posted a few days ago that when you have felt kindness coming from someone else, up your game, do more, give more kindness back. When you've experienced love, well, when that love is coming to your life, up your game. Raise the bar. That's right. Get out there and give more love back. When you have experienced any kind of prosperity in your life, any kind of blessing, up your game and give more back. Why? I'm going to explain that. For we're in the cycle of blessing when we're in the sowing and the reaping that is a spiritual law for our lives. So what we want to understand that really it's about an attitude of generosity. Here at City of Light, we work with a lot of the homeless community. There are a lot of people who would say, I see homeless people asking for money or asking for this or that. And, I give them the dollar or $5, but, they're probably going to abuse that. They're going to buy alcohol. They're going to do whatever. And so, I'd rather not give at all. So what happens is, because of that attitude, and the key is attitude, the attitude is then I only give with conditions. I'm going to give only with some conditions that say, you must not use it for alcohol, you must not use it for this, you must not use it for that. And what we do is we hinder the very spirit of generosity of giving. For true giving, to truly give something, is to give with no attachments, no agenda. Ever receive a Christmas gift at Christmas time? Where someone says, oh, I've bought this beautiful red sweater for you, but you must wear it on the 4th Tuesday of every month. What? No, I thought you gave me a gift. No, and if you don't wear it on the 4th Tuesday of every month, you really probably should give it back to me. Wait a minute, some sort of agenda? Can't I wear it when I want to wear it? What if I really don't like it? Can I return it? No, you can't do any of those things because I have an agenda attached to this gift. So was the gift truly given? There have been many times people wanted to give to the ministry of City of Light with an attachment. I want to give generously, but I want my name in lights, or I want some control over something, or I'll give generously, but I want some notoriety and some attention given to me, or I want to control some of the decisions that the church may make because I'm a key giver. What happens is we're giving with attachments, and we're giving in an attitude that is contrary to the whole spirit of generosity. Steve, one of our students, has a question or a comment.
I've heard it referred to, obviously it's not giving, but a transaction. Everyone sees everything as a transaction, even their gift giving. If they don't say thank you, if I don't hear anything in the mail, like a thank you note or whatever for this thing, I'm not going to do it next time. Everything is a transaction. And that's probably the issue we're talking about
right.
Here is we gotta understand what proper giving is.
Exactly. To truly give is to release, to let go, not to give with one string attached or a rope attached to it that says if you don't do this or that, or I have an agenda to it. True giving is to give with no attachments whatsoever and no expectations around the gift. But knowing that in the attitude of generosity, when we're giving freely, we know that there is a principle that works in our lives, in the sowing, that we will reap. What we sow, what we give, what we put out, there will be a reaping, a blessing coming back. So that's why it's so important that we just say, I'm in the spirit of generosity and I have an attitude of generosity and I enjoy giving. And I give with no attachment because I know in that spirit of generosity, something will return to me. Now, it may not be directly related to that gift, but in the spirit, the energy of sowing and reaping, something comes back to you in a bounty and a blessing. Certainly, one of the great things is the joy of being generous, the joy of giving, the joy of sharing. It's so amazing when we engage in this. When we share of that which we've been blessed with in our world, there's an incredible joy and a blessing we receive. But beyond that, those who are participating in the spirit of generosity, this is how the spiritual economics work. Spiritual economics in our world is for those who receive, they share a portion, they pass it on to someone else. Someone receives, they share a portion, they pass it on to someone else. As they receive, they pass it on, and begins this wonderful cycle that seems to be turning the world economic system. So this is why it's so important that we understand spiritual economics, that it is the spirit or attitude of generosity without any attachment. So let's talk for a moment. In your notes, if you received your note packet, you'll find a little box on page number 1. It says, let's talk. What is life? Is it a competition among people to push aggressively out into the world and to strive relentlessly to get the most for the least? Is that what life is? The world has evolved to an attitude towards money and success that has an emphasis on getting what you want, when you want it, at any cost. So, have you seen this attitude lived out in your world, where people are so in competition, they will trample over anyone to get ahead in the world financially. They will abuse the system just so that they might get and gain. Their attitude towards money is, I want what I want, and I want it all now, and I've got this sort of attitude of take, 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 take. We see this in our world a lot, and this is where the spiritual emphasis of tonight's class is about understanding the power, the joy, the blessing of giving and sowing within our life. There's a true wonder of being able to be a generous giver in this world, to give of that which you've been blessed with. So let's just stop and remember this very important point. Life is not lived from the outside in, but from the inside out. So if we really want to understand the spirit of joy and happiness and peace within our life, it's all going to happen from the inside flowing out, not from what you can get and grab at and steal from others to pull in. It's what you've discovered, what's in, that you share, that you give out. Unless we understand this, we're going to miss the whole meaning of life. So there's a beautiful little graphic in your note packet that says inside, out. That's right. Inside is being released out. That was from the inside. And what's in the inside? Oh, that divine presence, this wonderful love of God, this wonderful grace and compassion, this wonderful awareness that you live in abundance and great prosperity. So when we understand that, we share from the inside out, and we find as we sow, we reap. It is a spiritual law. It's a physical law that we live within this world. Jesus said, consider the lilies of the field and how they grow. You'll find that passage in Matthew 6, chapter 6:28. By very nature's law, this lily grows and unfolds from a bud to a flower. It is a discernible unfoldment that happens from within out. And that's our whole journey of our life. If we go within, we find the true beauty that needs to be released out. We go within, we're going to find the peace that needs to be released out. We go within, we're going to find the love and compassion that we need, that needs to be released out. And so what we find is that your life is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift to God. So when we understand this very principle of what will you do with this life? Will you hoard it? Will you keep it for yourself? All your talents and gifts, all the wonderful abilities that are innately within you, all the love you have to share, is it all there just for you? Or are you really realizing that this is my gift to give back, to share of the blessings of that which I've received? Too many live life as if they are only ready to take and not to give. The whole attitude, what's in it for me? You know, if there's nothing in it for me, I'm not going to go the extra mile. I'm not going to give. I'm not going to share. Pay me because I'm here, not for what I can do. Don't pay me that. Just pay me because I showed up, you know? I quite often would find that people would say, Pastor, I'd come to church. I just don't have the gas money. Would you give me $25 to, come to church? Some people are looking for, I'll pay. If you pay me, I'll come. But how about I have arrived, or I'm here, or I'll come so I can share? Now, mind you, I'm not minimizing those people who have a need financially and we want to help them out. But there is a point of saying, wait a minute, is about I'm here if you'll pay me, or am I here because I really have something to offer and to give and to share? I'm often moved by clergy who spend their years in pastoral leadership, encouraging people to come to church. And then when they are no longer employed and no longer receiving a paycheck, they're no longer going to church. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you came to church because it was a job? You came to church because you got a paycheck? And when you no longer get a paycheck, you're not going to church anymore? Well, I've served and I've done this and I've been to church so many times. But I thought what you were teaching others is that faithfulness to church attendance is about doing your spiritual work and about being in the body, being part of the body of believers, that the work that you do in coming together is to edify and to build up and to encourage. That you go there for not only spiritual enrichment of your life, but to share of the many gifts that you've received in your life of talent and time and wisdom and insight and presence and love, and on goes. So we go to church for far more reasons than just when you get a paycheck or you're paid to be there. You go there because you understand that there is a reason, there's a blessing in the spirit of giving and generosity. Our world is so full of givers and takers. Too often more takers than givers. We need to find this wonderful experience. Now let's just break that down so there's not any misunderstanding. Taker meaning I'm just take, doesn't mean that we are diminishing the spirit of receiving. Because here's another problem in our journey of our life. Is a lot of people don't know how to receive a blessing. Someone says, oh, let me buy you dinner. Oh, no, you can't buy me dinner. And then they fight and the rest, wait, you have held back the opportunity of someone else having a blessing. Let them bless you. Let them do something kind for you. That's the spirit of learning to receive. Too many people don't even feel comfortable learning how to receive from someone else, to receive the kindness, to receive the gesture of someone opening the door for you, or someone doing, some simple things in life. Learning to receive is really essential. We may think, we really need to learn to give, but we've got to find that balance to our life. Now, it's different between learning to receive and just being a taker. When we receive for the purpose of sharing back. There's a reason that the blessings come to us for a reason of sowing back out. So we know that what comes to us as we are open to receiving, we know that we can generate of that power of blessing, that cycle of blessing, moving smoothly and easily in a divine flow, receiving and sharing and receiving, giving and receiving is this wonderful yin and yang experience in our life. How many of you have ever had the joy of maybe going through the drive-thru and the car ahead of you buying your meal? Or maybe you've done the experience of you've purchased the meal for the person behind you. So, here's what it is all about, is this wonderful joy in this experience of sowing something and then receiving the gratitude and the wonderful joy within you of knowing that you've done something wonderful that made someone else's day amazing. I tell you, I was at Macy's the other day and I popped in to do some shopping and I wanted to pick up a bottle of water, and unfortunately the Starbucks there in Macy's was only taking cash. I was fortunate enough to have $10 and I purchased a bottle of water, and that meant I had about $8 roughly left over. The woman behind me was so distraught because she had no cash whatsoever, and she just said, well, I can't buy a cup of coffee and I just really wanted this cup of coffee. I really need this caffeine. And I said, hey, here, take this. Get yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy. But I said, would you please pass this wonderful experience on to someone else? Do something kind for someone else in this wonderful sewing. This is a suggestion, not an attachment to the gift, but simply a suggestion. So, here it is, the joy. Then I walked away. I said, I felt so great. I felt wonderful. I didn't really need anything coming back to me because I had such a wonderful experience of being able to help someone else. I've known that when someone has been there for me, when I was like, oh, gee, I didn't have any cash, I didn't have anything, and someone else picked up the check for me. It was like, wow, that was amazing. That was incredible. It felt so good. I knew that feeling, and I know that that's what she was feeling. And I knew that just brought such great joy to my life. So let me just say to you, there is an incredible joy, a wonder to be discovered in the power of giving and sharing and being generous. Now, a lot of people say, wait. I would love to give, but you know what? I don't have enough. I don't have enough to share. I don't have enough I only have enough for myself. Let me tell you this. The joy of sharing even a small portion is immense and great. But when you do this, you enact a spiritual law, a law that cannot be changed, a law that is already in operation. We know this very true, this spiritual law, that when you sow a seed, a tomato seed in the ground, it's going to produce a tomato plant. It's there. This is a spiritual law. Whatever we sow into this world, there's going to be a reaping and a harvest for us. So I encourage you to ignite or sort of prime the pump. You know, have you ever been there, maybe in an old cabin or an old cottage where they had one of these old-fashioned pumps? It has a little leather strap on it. And sometimes you had to pour a little water to loosen up, to prime up the pump a little bit, or pour water down to it to get the pump going, just to prime it up. So it took a little generosity of giving water into the pump for the pump to give water back to you. Well, that's the same principle, that sometimes we're so stuck in the believing of lack, we don't have enough. The reason we don't have enough is because we haven't primed the pump. The more we prime the pump, the more the pump's going to bring forth in bounty and blessing. So I encourage you that do what you can. Give a portion of what you can. And when you experience the joy of giving, I want to tell you this, it is so incredible and so it fills us with a feeling of great prosperity within our own individual lives that we want to do more. So start out somewhere. Start out giving where you can. Start out blessing someone, maybe offering a dollar bill, doing something kind, buying someone a cup of coffee, whatever. And before you know it, it's going to mushroom within you. And you'll find that that spirit of generosity is flowing within you, and you are reaping the bounty of this spiritual law at work. So when we think about all these givers and takers and people who say, what's in it for me? I want to encourage you not to make judgments concerning others about these statements. This is not about others. This class is about you. So let's not shift and focus on who's a taker and who's this and who's that. The goal is to help you be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not someone else's. So do these statements apply to you? Are you a giver? Are you a taker? Are you someone who says, I'll show up if you just pay me? Or if you don't pay me, I won't show up. I won't have anything to give. I won't offer anything back. See, these statements can maybe make us think a little bit, how are we living in this, what we call divine flow? This divine flow is ongoing. It is this wonderful goodness of God that's flowing through our lives. And in that, we get to participate in the Spirit. For the Spirit of God, this divine flow works through us. So when we operate in the field of generosity, when we operate in this attitude, what we're doing is we're allowing this divine flow to flow through us, to be around us, to be always for us, and to flow in us at all times. Now, those who are takers, well, they believe that their lives will always be the total of what they can get from the world. No matter what they take, they can never know the peace or security or the fulfillment that's there. Givers are convinced that life is a giving process. Thus, their motivation is to give themselves away in love, in service, and in all the many helpful ways that they can invest themselves. We find John 3:16, a powerful passage of Scripture, so familiar to so many. For God so loved the world that God gave. For God so loved the world that God gave. Gave. Here's the key word. Gave the only begotten Son, and we too are the sons and daughters that God begets. So God so loved the world that God gave you, and God gave you, and God gave you, and God gave you, which is begotten only of God, the divine source within, the Christ in you. So when we understand this, for God so loved the world that God gave, and that generous giving is the giving of our life, of each and every one of us. We are a gift to this world, and we have the opportunity to return back from that wonderful blessing that we received. You're created in the image and likeness of this divine givingness. That's right. The image of God is one of givingness. You cannot make any sense out of your life or realize the free flow or substance in your experience until you begin to see yourself as a giver. How important it is. You need to see yourself as a giver. And when we do this, we ignite this wonderful spiritual law. So again, let me just reiterate how important it is. Start somewhere. Give $1. Start somewhere. Start in the spirit of generosity, that every single day there's something that you're giving. It doesn't have to always be something financial. Give a kind word. Give a phone call of encouragement. Give some of your time. Give some of your talents. Just find ways to experience the wonderful joy and the wonder of giving within your life. So in what ways can I become more of a giver? We have to ask ourselves that question. For your greatness is revealed in your giving. That's right. Your greatness is going to be revealed through the power of your generosity. Life for the whole or the complete person truly is a giving process. In the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah or Kabbalah is the very core teaching of the word share. That we are here in this lifetime to share, to give in any way that we can of the blessings and the bounty of what we've received, that we share with others, that we are in the spirit of generosity and we give back to this world that has given so much to us. So it's really important that we understand all of life is this wonderful giving process. Giving of your wisdom, giving of your insight, giving of your time, giving of your talents, giving of your financial blessings and abundance, giving portions of these things, and sharing in this great spirit. So begin thinking give. That's right. Forgive is an attitude. I love to give. I love this wonderful attitude. Embrace that thought. Say it over and over again. I'm a giver. Spiritually get in the place where you are so one with God, this divine source, that you are now in the bounty and blessing and in the prosperity of the divine. That's right. That's where you dwell. And in that prosperity, there's always enough. There's always enough. Do we not see this throughout Scripture, taught in lesson and lesson after lesson? Jesus, who is teaching those on the hillside, 5,000 men, not counting women and children, says the number in the Scripture. There could have been as many as 15 to 20,000. An immense crowd. Jesus understands that they are all hungry and in need of food. The disciples telling him, Jesus, you need to cut your sermon short, wrap it up, send these people home, let them go. And Jesus said instead, what do we have that we could give? What do we have? In the desire to give back to feed these people and to bless them immensely, what was given and presented to Jesus was a simple basket of loaves and fishes. Now, you might have thought someone would scoff at that, think, well, there's never going to be enough here. But you see, Jesus didn't look at the small amount in the basket, but look what was given was substance, something to work with, something to begin with, something to bless, something to break and to share and to give out. And in that spirit of generosity, it began to ignite an incredible miracle that happened. So there are many who believe that those who gathered by the hillside to hear the sermons of Jesus, the very teaching, when Jesus took this basket and he took out the loaves and the fishes and broke it and blessed it with a blessing of prosperity upon it, the spirit of this teaching flow through that immense crowd. And there were people, I believe, that would say, oh, wait a minute, I've got a tuna fish on rye. Oh, you know what? I've got a bag of Fritos. I brought an extra chocolate muffin. Oh, you know what? I brought this from home. I've got some of this and that. And before you know, people began to share, and there was plenty. And there were baskets actually left over. What we find here is this wonderful metaphor of taking what you have and not looking at it says, it's not enough, it's too small, it's not sufficient, this will never work, but instead blessing it, breaking it, and giving it, knowing that the blessing of God is upon it, and the prosperity will flow through it. And here it is, this beautiful example of the wonderful blessings of a generous heart that saw what was there, what was given, and blessed what was given. One of the most significant phrases in the Bible is wait on the Lord. There's several passages in Proverbs and the Psalms that encourage us to wait on the Lord. It comes from the Hebrew word kavah, and it means to bind together. So to wait on the Lord doesn't really mean to sit down and just fold your hands and I'll just wait here. It's not about time. It's really, to wait on the Lord means that you get yourself integrated in consciousness with the divine flow. So to wait on the Lord really means get yourself in alignment, get yourself integrated, get your thinking in line. To wait is not a time issue. It is to align with the Lord. It is to integrate your very thought process in this divine flow. Because when we live in the spirit of the divine flow and that consciousness, we know that whatever's coming in, there's more behind it. And you can share it out knowing that there's more to come in. When we understand that this is divine flow, but if you just keep hoarding and taking and you're never giving out, what happens is your cup comes so full there it can't contain anymore. But instead, what we want to understand is as we release, we make room for more to come in. So it's very important before undertaking any project to wait on the Lord in conscious prayer experience, in which you are turning your thought inward and establish yourself in the flow of this creative process. Become very still, become centered, sense the creative energy of the Spirit helping you to get things done and to do them easily and to do them well. So this waiting is really better expressed as get in alignment with and step into this wonderful divine flow, a blessing. Now, if there ever was a lack of any kind in your life, something is blocking the flow. If you are experiencing lack in any way in your life, something is blocking the flow. And the most effective remedy when there's something blocking is to give. So begin to ask yourself if you're not in the full extent of the divine flow of God's goodness and blessings, maybe you need to find out a new place to give. Give of talent, give of time, give of your treasures, give of whatever you have. Now you may be thinking, wait, I need to receive. But the law of giving is that when things get tight, something's got to give. That's right. So look for some way to start the giving flow. Scripture says in Luke chapter 6, verse 38, give, and it will be given unto you. It doesn't say receive, and then you can give. It doesn't say, take, and then you can give. But you start with the giving, and more will be given to you. Dr. Carter, you have a question?
You don't give to get. You give with the expectation of receiving. There's a
right.
fine line
Yes.
there.
That's good terminology and semantics here. Let's just explain that. We're not giving with the intention. I'm giving with to get, as if we're in this. But we do understand that we heighten our vibrational frequency through the power of prosperity and generosity, that we live at a higher level of consciousness and awareness that attracts to us in a natural spiritual law. Likes attract likes. Givers will attract gifts, more gifts to give. So we understand this very heightened vibrational frequency that happens. We don't give to get. We give to have this heightened experience of the joy of knowing that we are abundant and blessed. Here's one of the things. People give of anything, time, talent, or treasures, are people who already know that they are blessed and abundant. But people who live in a lack consciousness or prosperity consciousness will be the first to say, I don't have anything to give. But you know what? We all have something to give. Something. Find something to give. Find something that you can share, a talent, a song, a smile. Begin to say, I'm looking for things that I can give on a regular basis, that I may be more generous with all that has been blessed, that I've been blessed with in my life. Because when we ask ourselves, where is this blockage to this flow? Because when you're living in flow, things will happen with ease. Synchronicity is all around you. The doors open up, the right people appear, and things begin to fall into place just like this. Just like that, you have to learn how to discern between fear and avoidance and what's really, truly not right for you. But you will find this all happening in your life when you are in this divine flow. You need not be afraid, but you will have the good insight and wisdom to know how to live your life smoothly, appropriately, and with divine grace. The right people, the right things are all going to start coming to you. Why? Because you're living at a higher level of vibrational frequency that's going to attract the right things to you versus this lower poverty, lack thinking, this thing that says, I don't have enough, there's not enough to go around. This will never work out for me. Here's Dr. Paul's Attitude Shaper, Molder, and Maker. I include these in these class sessions because this is about shifting our attitudes that's going to mold and make our life for the highest and best. Begin with this. Today, I'm thinking give. For when I give, I open the flow for receiving. I know this is a fundamental law of prosperity for my life, and I encourage you to write this out and repeat it over again. Today, I'm thinking give. I'm thinking give. I'm thinking give. For when I open the flow of giving and generosity, I'm going to be receiving. And I know that this is a fundamental law of prosperity for my life. Now, when you discover the wonder of giving, you'll wonder how you could have lived so long any other way. It opens the door to the good you've been seeking, and it gives life that added glow. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion tonight, a little bit of this. And if there are any questions or comments, well, we'd love to hear from you. This is all about the spirit of generosity and the wonder of giving in our lives. If you've got a comment to share or a takeaway from tonight's session, I'd greatly appreciate it. Love to hear from you. I'd love to hear what your takeaway is. And while we're waiting for those of you who are joining through live streaming to offer your comments, we're going to go around our class. Dr. David Carter, do you have a comment coming in or a question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, in that little block where it says when you're living in the flow,
Yep.
that last sentence that says you have to learn how to discern between fear and avoidance and what's really truly not right for you. Can you talk about that a little bit? The fear and avoidance part.
So we have to learn how to discern. Am I afraid? Am I avoiding generosity? Am I avoiding giving? And I'm running from this because I'm afraid of this and I'm living in lack. And understanding what's truly right and good for you and what's not right and good for you. So you'll begin to learn in the spirit of discernment once you're in this divine flow. Divine flow is more than just prosperity financially, but there's going to be prosperity in your life for wisdom, insight. You're going to become more intuitive as you step into divine flow, as you align yourself with the spirit and presence of God, as you wait on the Lord, or align yourself on the Lord, align yourself in consciousness with the divine. What's going to happen? It's going to be a simple experience that you're going to have this infinite wisdom coming to you. Great question. Thank you. All right. Someone else? Any other questions? If not, let's go around and let's hear what your takeaway is from each of them. Pardon?
That wasn't a takeaway.
No. We're going to hear your takeaways. Let's go to Dave over here. Let's see what Dave, the student.
My takeaway is giving is an attitude. Expect nothing in return, but give cheerfully and lovingly, talent, money, and time.
Amen. Giving is an attitude. Now, that's so true. The Bible says, for those who have, more will be given. And those who have, and this is all about attitude, that they don't have, they'll lose even more. This is a paraphrase of a wonderful passage from the New Testament, but it's really teaching us this. Life is all based on this wonderful attitude that we have of being generous. When you feel like I have and I can share because I know that I have, well, more comes to you. But if you're saying I'm fearful and I'm avoiding giving because I don't have enough, what happens is you begin to decrease in what you do have. You know, there's people who say to me, you know what, I'd love to sing in the Celebration Singers here at City of Light. I wish I had a fabulous talent, okay? They're saying, you know, I need to be an opera singer to sing. And then I would sing. Do you have a voice? Yes. Oh, it's okay. Well, if you don't use that voice, what happens? We lose it, right? Yeah. Any talents we have, if we don't use them, we lose them. But too often we're not willing to use them because we think, well, they've got to be extra special, or they've got to be pretty fabulous, or they've got to be this or that before I could even use them. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So here we are in the same spirit that says, whatever has been given to me, let me give something back. Let me share it. You know, I firmly believe that we need to give back a portion of everything in our life. You may need to go through your closet and say, you know what, I'm going to give back to the clothing closet at City of Light or to Goodwill. I'm going to give back a portion because you know what, I have an abundance of clothes. I got way too much. In fact, I did that today. Cleaning out my closet, I kind of minimized some things that, you know what, I'm not wearing this. What a shame for me to store it in the closet when someone could be wearing this. So let me, in a spirit of generosity, give these items away so that someone else may be blessed with them. So this is an attitude that we must embrace within our life, because when we have the attitude that there's plenty to go around, and I encourage you to think about that in all aspects, not just your clothing. How about sharing your home with hospitality? I love to have people come over to my home. I've been blessed with a wonderful home and I want to share it. I firmly believe in, shall we say, tithing on my car. I don't give 10% of the engine away, or don't give 10% of the tire away. No, but I try to, when someone needs a ride, or I'll say, let me drive, let's go, we're going here or there. I'll drive, I'll take you, I'll carry you, because I want to give back. I've been blessed with a wonderful vehicle. I want to give a portion back. So it's all this spirit of saying, I have an attitude that I'm abundantly blessed, and there's plenty of ways that I may give in talent, in time, and in treasure. All right, let's go over here to Steve Gann. What's your takeaway from tonight's class?
That what we're really talking about is either a practice of fear or a practice of love.
Right.
And if we look at the process of giving and receiving as one instead of two separate things, as maybe instead of saying giving or receiving, we think of it as flow.
Yep, that's a great term. Great way.
And to not only practice it, but practice it with gratitude and cheerfulness. Because if you just practice it, if you practice it begrudgingly, like, I really don't want to give you this, but I will anyway. Or you want to give me something, I'll take it, but I don't feel worthy of it. Then you're not really practicing true giving and true receiving, because
right.
You're still doing it as an act of fear. I don't deserve this, or you don't deserve this. If we practice giving and receiving as flow and do it cheerfully and gratefully, then I think then more love in our life will grow that much more, because that's really what feeds love and nourishes love in our life.
Excellent. Great takeaway. Let's go to Dr. David Carter. What's your takeaway?
I like what you said about wait on the Lord, which means getting into alignment and consciousness. And could you add to that, when you're getting yourself into alignment and consciousness, the spirit, as you go through that process, or you could say it's waiting on the Lord, but aren't you also in essence treating and moving your feet? Because the treatment is getting yourself into alignment, and you're moving your feet by following the guidance that you definitely will receive if you get yourself into alignment.
Right. Because that alignment is just flow. Flow is going to carry you through, take you to places. It's going to open up doors for you. Divine flow is amazing when we're in that. God's going to open up immense doors and opportunities in your life when you live in the realm of flow. Do we have any other takeaway? Okay, from our students.
Okay. Holly Hill,
Holly, great.
you don't lose anything by giving. You enter the divine flow and will continue to receive the things you want and need. Your gifts help others receive what they want and need. And your giving to others illustrates the law of divine flow for them, whether they recognize it as such or not. They will understand it on some level.
Great takeaway. Thank you, Holly. Wonderful. Chris Starkey. Okay, Chris, good to have you with us tonight.
Generosity is a blessing that changes people.
Oh, great takeaway. Generosity is a blessing that changes people. Our lives are transformed in this great spirit of generosity. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's class on the wonder of giving. And let me tell you this, step into the divine flow. Step into this by sharing something this week. By saying intentionally, I'm going to share some time, some talent, some treasure, and give it freely with no attachment whatsoever. But knowing that when you're in divine flow, it is this wonderful blessing that keeps flowing in and flowing out, flowing all around, flowing for you and through you in all wonderful ways. God bless you. I'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday night here at 7 o'clock. And we'll continue as we're into class number 11. And then the final one is the week after that, session number 12. God bless you. I'm living in expectancy, and I'm expecting to hear something amazing happening in your life as you put into practice the spirit of generosity. God bless you.